Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are starting our measurement unit. We're going to be talking about rulers and inches today and how to use a ruler to measure length or height. So, first of all, let's talk about what measurement is. Measurement is when you measure anything. You can measure a lot of different things. Today we're going to be focusing on measuring length and height using a ruler. There's a couple of different ways to use a ruler. We're going to learn how to measure in inches and centimeters. Both of those are on a normal ruler. You have an inch side and a centimeter side, which we'll look at in a minute. We're also going to be learning about yards, feet, and meters. So, first of all, we have two types of measurement. We have the U.S. measurement, which is what we use in the United States. In the United States, we use measurements called inches, feet, and yards. So, inches are going to be our smallest unit of measurement in the United States. And they're about this big, and there are 12 inches on a ruler. A ruler is a foot. A foot is exactly 12 inches long. That is probably the most important fact that you're going to want to take away from today, is that there are 12 inches in 1 foot, and a ruler is 1 foot. Next, we have feet. 3 of those rulers are going to equal a yard, and a yardstick is 3 feet long. I'm going to show you guys a yardstick in a different video, so make sure you check that out too. And then also inside of a yard, if there are 12 inches in 1 foot and there are 3 feet in a yard, if we do 12 inches times 3 feet, how many inches do you think are going to be in a yard? If you said 36, you are right. It is going to be 36 inches in a yard. So again, it's 12 inches in a foot, 3 feet in a yard, and 36 inches in 1 yard. The main measurement you're going to want to take away from this, again, is 12 inches are in a foot. And it actually takes 3 rulers to make a yardstick. It takes 3 feet to make a yard. Next, let's talk about using a ruler. When you are using a ruler, there are 2 sides. We have an inch side and a centimeter side. I want to show you this right here. It says inch on the side, and then up here it says cm. Cm stands for centimeters. Both of these have a starting point of 0. This is where you're always going to start to use the ruler when you're measuring. I want to measure in inches today. And in 3rd grade, we are going to learn how to measure to the closest inch and the closest half inch. We're not worrying about 1/4 inches and 3/4 inches or 1/8 inches or 1/16 of inches. We're just worrying about the main inches and maybe a half an inch in between those 2 big inches. So right here, I want you to kind of look at our ruler. I'm using the inch side, so you're going to want to line up whatever object you're measuring. I'm measuring a pin here. You're going to want to measure up the tip of that object with the 0 point. If there's not a 0 on your ruler, then line it up with the edge of the ruler. Here I have a 0 though, so I'm going to line it up with 0. You never line it up with 1. If you line it up with 1, then your measurement's going to be off by 1 inch. So do not line it up with 1. We always line it up with 0. Just like a number line, we always start at 0, not 1. So we're going to look at these big numbers up here. These are our main numbers, okay? So this 1 shows 1 inch, this 2 shows 2 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches. As you can see, the tip of this pin is right about the 4-inch mark. So this object, this pin, is going to be 4 inches, okay? Also, I want you to notice that in between the 0 and the 1, there is this half inch. It's like the tallest part right here of all these little markings. It's going to be the tallest one in the dead center in the middle. And if it's in the middle between 2 inches, you're just going to say whatever inch came before it. You're just going to say whatever inch is before it and then a half after that. So we're going to look at one that measures to a half an inch in just a second. Let's look at this one. We have a marker here. And this marker, we're lining up the tip of that marker at the 0-inch mark. I'm using the inches side because that's what we're measuring in today is inches. And we are looking at how far this marker is. How many inches do you think this marker is? Look at these big numbers right here. Don't get confused by these up here. These are centimeters. We'll be talking about those in our next lesson. But we are looking at the inches right here, okay? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's pretty much right on the 5 mark. And even if it's a little bit short, we're going to always round up to the closest inch or half inch here in 3rd grade. So this one is 5 inches. And notice how I put 5, and I put the abbreviation IN. IN and that little dot is just a short way to say inches instead of writing out the entire word. So you get to kind of abbreviate with measurement because otherwise you're going to have to write out words like feet, yards, centimeters, and it gets a lot longer. Okay, our next measurement here, we have an Among Us character. Here we are measuring the height of an Among Us character. The difference between length and height, length over here with the marker, we were measuring how long it is. And with the Among Us character, we're measuring how tall it is, which is the height. So if you want to measure how tall you are, we're measuring height. Either way, you're going to use a ruler or tape measure to do that. So here we have our Among Us character. We lined up him right at the 0 mark, and I turned my ruler up like this. You can turn your ruler whatever way you need to use it. Just make sure you're on the correct side. So make sure I'm on the inch side, which I am. I'm lining it up at 0, and I'm going to see how tall our Among Us character is. So here is the 1 inch mark, the 2 inch mark. He is about in the middle between 2 and 3. If you notice, he is hitting right at that half mark. So he is going to be 2.5 inches. He is not 3.5 inches. He didn't make it to 3. He made it to the 2. So he's got 2 inches, and then he's got another 1/2 inch. If I added 2.5 inches together, it would just be 2.5 inches. This is how you would write that. You would write a big 2, then you would write your fraction 1/2. Okay, and remember our fraction is 1/2 because that is half. So 2.5 inches is how tall our Among Us character is. Next, we're going to measure our little earthworm. Notice how I tried to line up his end to the 0 as close as possible. And we're going to see how long he is. We're measuring length here because we are not measuring how tall he is. We're measuring how long he is. So we started at the 0 and we look at our big inches. 1, 2, 3. He made it past the 3, so we know he's at least 3 inches, but he's not quite to 4 inches. He's right in between 3 and 4 inches, which makes him 3.5 inches long. So our earthworm is 3.5 inches long. Next, we have our Fortnite llama. We are going to see how tall our loot llama is. So I've lined up his legs with the 0 mark. Notice I did not line it up with 1. We always start at 0 when we're measuring inches. I'm on my inches side. I rotated my ruler to stand up because I am measuring height instead of length. And we're going to kind of look at where his ears, the very tippy top of him, which is his ears, where that lands. That lands right at about 2 inches. So he is exactly 2 inches tall. He's not 2.5 inches because he's not up to the halfway mark. If they're right on the inch mark right here, like a 2, you just leave it at 2. All right, let's look at our fun-sized Twix Bar, okay? Our Twix Bar here, it's one of those little tiny ones that you get for maybe in your Easter basket or for Halloween when you trick-or-treat. We're going to line it up with 0. And we are estimating here. So we're not looking at the exact measurement down to the 1/8 of an inch. So we're going to look at how close this Twix Bar is to whatever inch. So first we start at our 0. Here I have a 1, so he's at least 1 inch long. He didn't make it to the 2 inches though. So we are now stuck. Is he going to be 1 inch, 2 inches, or 1.5 inches? Let's look at how close he is. He is closer to being 1.5 inches long than 2 inches. So we're going to say he is 1.5 inches long. Okay. Next, we have our Squishmallow. We have a shark Squishmallow. He's our last one for today. We are measuring his height. So again, I rotated the ruler up, and we're lining up the bottom of whatever object you're using, and we're going to measure and see how tall he is. Okay. So here we have 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. The top of him is exactly at 3 inches, so he is 3 inches tall. So this is what I want to challenge you to do. I want to challenge you to go find a ruler in your house, and if you don't have one, you can print one off online for free. And I want you to try to go measure some objects. See if you can use a ruler, a real ruler in and of itself, and see if you can measure some household objects to figure out how long some of these things are. See if you can measure them to the nearest 1/2 inch. See if you can find something that's 1 inch, something that's 1.5 inches, something that's 2 inches, something that's 2.5 inches, something that's 3 inches, and get some practice using a real ruler, because I cannot give you a real ruler over YouTube. So go find one, print one off, and use that and actually practice these skills. I also want you to check out my other video where I'm actually using a ruler and showing you guys how to use a ruler in real life, so that way you can practice it at home. All right, guys, I hope this video helped explain how to measure with inches. Remember, there are 12 inches in a foot, and there are 3 feet in a yard. I will catch you guys later. Bye!